Hello, friends, and welcome to a new episode of r/IDontWorkHereLady. Today, we have 3 more stories. So if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a new video every single day. Let's get started. Customer tried to report me for no reason. Again, for context, I work at a fabric and craft store. Not only do I work the front registers, but I'm also in the craft department, well, not really anymore, but that's another story. About midway through the year last year, for the first time since I started working about 4 years ago, we reworked the whole of craft. We pretty much moved everything where it was to another part of the department. So regulars and other customers, and not to forget most of the staff who'd visited the store before, were a little confused where everything was. And rightfully so, because so were we. For the sake of this story, I'm going to need to address that we stock a particular paper craft machine that can only be bought in my country from our franchise, unless you order from an online store. All the accessories for this machine used to be at the front of the department before the move. Issue was that we were getting more stock in than we could display, so all the products were moved into one of the longer aisles during the rework to allow for more room, thankfully. In its place were going to be our artist paints and calligraphy section. This is where our story begins. On a weekday morning, my manager and I were stacking the now empty shelves at the front of the department, exactly where the machine and accessories used to be. Whenever we're asked a question, my manager tends to take the reins. She has this unspoken rule where anyone who's working with her isn't allowed to talk to a customer for more than a minute so that we're able to get everything done that she wants us to. That's another story for another day. We hadn't had many questions up to this point, and I'd had to escort 1 or 2 customers across the department to find something, but other than that, we hadn't had much trouble at all. About 45 minutes into stacking these shelves, a couple approaches us. Lady: "Where did all the paper craft machine things go?" Me: "It's just down here, ma'am." I stand up from my position and walk into the main runway and point out the aisle. And by this, I mean I walk up to the aisle and indicate where it is as they watch from where they were standing before. It's clearly visible with a large sign displaying the paper craft machine's name and has an obnoxious green color plastered everywhere. Lady: "But why did you move it?" She had a disgusted and frustrated tone in her voice. I was completely taken aback and confused about why she'd gone from 0 to 100. Before I could respond, my manager stepped in. "We have more stock coming in, so we had to allocate a larger aisle to it." Man, but that's just confusing. At this point, the man angrily walked off. The woman followed suit, but muttered some kind of curse at me. Something along the lines of "effing unhelpful B-word" or "what a effing joke." It was hard to understand, but I knew she'd said something of the kind. About an hour later, after the altercation, I'd had no trouble with any other customers, and neither had my manager. We'd moved to another shelf at the front of the department. Canvas. This aisle was in line with the pathway up to lay-by, which is where our store manager is most of the time. We're able to see every customer who lines up or any staff member who exits or enters. We aren't, however, able to hear what's being said. All of a sudden, I can hear hissing and complaining coming from the lay-by counter. I look over, and wouldn't you know it, the couple was standing there, grilling the poor lady serving there. I should mention it was mostly the woman doing the talking. Although I couldn't understand what was being said, it was obvious that she was upset, angry, and very frustrated about something. I assumed that perhaps we didn't have a product she was looking for and the lay-by server had dealt the bad news. That paper craft machine and its accessories were and are still quite popular. And at the time, we'd been running low on stock of some of the more popular products from the range. After a minute or two, the lay-by lady ducked into the office and out came the store manager. Again, at this point, I honestly thought it was a customer going over the top and complaining about not having something in stock, because obviously we need to read everyone's mind and have exactly what they want in stock whenever they want it. However, it was only when I noticed out of the corner of my eye that the couple were pointing at me in the aisle that I know something was wrong. I instinctively looked to my manager, who seemed to have had the same thought. She prompted me to continue stacking, so I did. Couple more hours passed by, the couple left, and I'd moved on to putting out more stock in our wool section of the department. My manager, out of the blue, approached me and ushered me to the corner of the wool section, pretty much in the back corner of the store. She said that she'd been called into the back office and practically roasted and interrogated. It turns out that the couple we'd had an issue with earlier complained to the store manager, and it wasn't about low stock as I'd previously thought. They accused my manager and myself of not doing our jobs properly. Not only did they insist that neither of us had shown them to the paper craft machine aisle, but an hour after the altercation, they'd accused us of sending them to the lay-by counter to find out where the aisle was because apparently we didn't work in the department. I was dumbfounded. What had I done to make them try to report my manager and me for doing nothing wrong? The only thing I can think of is that they were highly inconvenienced that the products had been moved 2 aisles down. I'd love to know if any of you have had similar experiences, because this was just ridiculous. And our second story. I would think that you'd want to impress me. So I work at a locally owned bakery, quite expensive and upscale. Generally, the customers are incredibly nice. This is not a story about those customers. It's about 20 minutes till close, so I'm taking inventory and cleaning up when a call comes in. B-word lady will be BL, and I'll be me. Me. Hi, thanks for calling store name. My name is Goklisa. How can I help you? BL. Hi. I received a cake, and it was incredibly dry. Me. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. Can I get your information? BL. Yes, I received the cake as a gift from a regular customer, and it was the worst cake I've ever had. I was wondering if I could be compensated for it. Me. Well, of course, we can definitely send out a new cake. BL. Because it was so dry. Do you have any cakes with moisture in them? It was disgusting. Have you ever had the cake at Bonefish Grill? That cake is amazing. You know, I'm a realtor in the area, and I would think that you would want to impress me. Me. Yes, we can send out another cake. I recommend the flourless cake as it's our best seller and definitely creamy and rich. BL. Well, is it moist? Me. Yes, it has a delicious chocolate ganache on top. BL. Terrible. I hate chocolate ganache. Me. You can have a chocolate cake with buttercream. BL. I hate buttercream. Do you have any mocha frosting? You do know what mocha is, don't you? Me. Yes, it's BL. I want mocha buttercream, but without the espresso. Me. So, chocolate buttercream then. Okay. So we can get that sent? BL. No, I want it to be good light chocolate. Now, what kind of chocolate cakes do you have? Me. Ma'am, I just informed you we have regular chocolate and flourless. BL. But I want the flourless with buttercream. Me. We don't make that cake, ma'am. BL. You know, I think I'm going to inform regular customer not to buy cakes from you anymore if they're going to be this bad. It was so dry. Do you freeze the cakes or something? Because that's disgusting. I would never buy cake from a place that does business like that. In fact, we do freeze the cake layers because we're a high-traffic store. It's standard practice in most bakeries. It helps keep them fresh as they're perishable ingredients in cakes, and it's never more than 2 days, and we have a rotation system. I, of course, stay silent while she rants on. It went on like this for another 10 or 15 minutes. Mind you, this woman had received a free cake as a gift, then called us to complain about it, insulted the cakes we had and the icings we had, and later when the new cake was delivered, she threatened the owner, telling her that she would have the bakery shut down. Needless to say, we will not be delivering to her again. So she got 2 free cakes, one of which was exactly to her liking, for free, and still complained about it? And our next story. My manager tried to punish me. As backstory, I'd been at that store for years, and it seemed like 5 managers come and go. I was tired of us going through managers, so when we got a new one, I'll call her B-word, I decided to give her polite pointers as to where other managers had messed up. Just simple things like, X item sells very well at this store, so we should make sure we have enough. Sundays are actually very busy, and we get in trouble for not having enough help on those days. Last manager got in trouble for always forgetting X. Anything I thought could help her stay for a while. B-word always took that in the worst way, like I was calling her incompetent, when really I just wanted to help her do well. I mean, that might be kind of annoying of me, but I think it's clear to see that I meant well and was only trying to save her butt from trouble with the strict store director. She hated me. We always butted heads, and she's the type of person who, if she's mad, she wants to fight it out and make a scene. Pretty crappy, to be honest. At that job, I always felt overworked, constantly busy, and tired on my days off. One day I upset her, don't remember what, it was something petty, so my crazy boss thought I would be heartbroken over having a whole weekend off. Seriously, you punished me with a weekend off? Thanks. I had to fight to keep my smile from showing. Well, B-Word comes up to me shortly after she made the schedule and goes, "The new schedule's up, you should take a look." Seriously, B? If you want to cut my hours, then rub it in my face? Here we go then. So I stay upbeat. I know I get the weekend off. I think I'm going to do a date night on Saturday. I've been wanting to go see this new movie for weeks. She freezes, looks PO'd and says, "Okay, good then, works out for everyone," and walks off. The other employees all start talking about what they'd do if they had the weekend off. Movies, restaurants, activities, all sounds like fun. They're all teasing me, asking me to trade them, and we're all just laughing and enjoying ourselves while at work. Not 1 hour later, she comes back going, "Hey, something came up. I need you to work Saturday and Sunday." I grin even harder. Okay, great. I could really use the extra hours. And oh my God, the look on her face was priceless. She realized she couldn't win. Whether she took or gave my hours, she spent the rest of the day in a pissy mood, avoiding me. It was awesome. The best part? She did that to a lot of people, many of whom would beg for their hours back, so I guess she realized that was a great source of power. She tried that on me no less than 3 more times throughout the year, every time met with happy me no matter what. It was amazing. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video to the end, and I'll see you in the next one.